Well, now this is a very weird one, isn't it? What are you supposed to do when the very nice people at BMW hand you the keys to their most powerful, most expensive and fastest accelerating BMW car you can buy? Well, of course you'd say, thank you very much BMW, and be delighted to take that car away from you for a week. And I was delighted to take the BMW M8 Competition away for a week. But then a day or so later, our government put Auckland into lockdown. So now I'm stuck with this fantastic car sitting on my driveway because I'm not supposed to drive it anywhere without a legitimate excuse. You know, I'm limited to essential travel. And somehow I don't think joyriding around in an expensive European sports tourer is going to meet the criteria for essential travel as far as the New Zealand police is concerned. But in the meantime, let's get into what I hope to be my only ever driveway review. So to look at, it's a thing of, well, I wouldn't say it's great beauty, but it certainly has a presence. Got these massive 20-inch wheels. This one has about $7,500 worth of extras on it, so its list price is $350,400. It just felt wrong to say a number that big, but yeah, $350,400, which is a fair chunk of change, isn't it? Your M8 Competition is powered by a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8. So let's just pop the hood here. Here we go. That's what 460 kilowatts and 750 newton meters looks like when it's covered with a little carbon fiber dressing plate. And that's a true carbon fiber dressing plate. It's not false. No falseness here, thank you. And I've noticed that this car tends to run quite hot. I mean, I have driven it a little bit, but not much. I have noticed that the car, when you come back into the garage, the fan runs really for quite a long time just to cool it down. There's a fan that's dedicated to cooling the turbos, because the turbos live inside the V of the V8 here, and it has its own cooling system just for the turbos to keep it cool. So you'll hear a lot of noise when this thing pulls up. If it's been doing even just moderately tootling around, it still seems to run pretty hot. But anyway, can't complain about that. So it's a 4.4 litre, 460 kilowatts, 750 newton meter V8, and it's powerful enough, of course, to launch this thing from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in a BMW quoted time of 3.2 seconds. So yeah, it's the fastest accelerating BMW that you can get at the moment. So to get this thing to go from 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds is no mean feat, actually, because it weighs pretty much 1900 kgs. It's only about 15 kgs short of 1.9 tonne. So it's quite a big, heavy car. Big, I mean, because it's 4.8 something meters long too. So although it's just a two-door coupe, it's actually really, really long. It's got these carbon fiber mirrors, caps on here, carbon fiber, real carbon fiber, very nice, very tasty. Carbon fiber roof. You've got your twin bubble arrangement there, well, suggestions of a twin bubble. Carbon fiber boot lid spoiler, quad exhaust, and we'll have a listen to those later on when I start it up in the driveway. Really exciting, I'm sure. Lovely, lovely wheel design. Love those 20-inch wheels. It does have cross-drilled, I think they're 6-piston calipers, and in my very, very limited experience of driving the car, they're adequate. You can actually fine-tune the braking on this car too, because it does have a brake-by-wire system. So you can set two different types of braking performance. You can have a regular, ordinary running around the roads type of braking performance, or you can have an on-track brake setup, which is shorter pedal travel, much firmer brake pedal feel, and that's for when you take your car to the track, which of course you're always going to do with your $350,000 1.9 tonne BMW, aren't you? Yeah, you're always going to be doing that. 360-degree camera in the middle here. This is your infrared sensor for showing infrared information on the dash, so you can be very, very brave and drive this car at night without the headlights on and you can still see things. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. Now, it's an all-wheel drive car, this four-wheel drive. It has BMW's M xDrive system, which means that it's predominantly a rear-wheel drive bias vehicle, but it'll dial in power and torque delivery to the front axle to assist with traction as it needs to. As you step up through your drive modes from the start Sport and then Sport Plus and into track, it gets progressively more rearward biased until you get to the track settings where you can make it completely rear-wheel drive only. Yeah, and you can also turn off stability control. So yes, you can drift your BMW M8 Competition if you really want to, but looking at those tyres, I don't know if you want to do that very often because they're going to be expensive to replace, aren't they? It's an 8-speed automatic transmission, so a proper torque converter transmission, and you do have control over the shift ferocity and sharpness through the little button on the back of the gear lever, which I'll show you in a second. So yeah, it's got all the kind of the tech oily bits that you would want for a high-performance touring car, and that's kind of frustrating because, as you can see, it's just sitting in the driveway. So I really hope I get a phone call from my accountant soon that says I have to go to the post office and pick up some mail and then take her an envelope across town. Yeah, I really hope I get a phone call like that. In here, it's very nice. I mean, like very nice. You sit nice and low. You've got really lovely seats. They are ventilated and heated, of course. Your steering wheel's heated. Because this is the high-spec version, even my door rest, my door arm pull here is also heated. Lovely quilted upholstery here on the doors that match the seats. You've got Alcantara trimmings on your pillars and your roof lining, and down the lower parts of the car too, down the bottoms of the doors. Oh no, that's not Alcantara. That's just basically plastic, isn't it? Anyway, nice plastic, really high quality plastic. Let's fire the mother up. Yeah. You like that? Like that sound? It's pretty nice, isn't it? You've got adjustable exhaust. You can make it a bit quiet if you like, or noisier through your M1 and M2 button. The M2 button, that's programmed at the moment to switch all the dynamic stability control off, put all the power to the rear wheels, no front wheels at all in the drivetrain, and yeah, you're on your own, frankly. So it hardens everything up as much as you can, hardens the dampers up, hardens the steering up, all the brakes, everything's going max track focus, I guess you'd say, in M2. And definitely a bit more punch through that exhaust pipe as well. Oh, sorry, those 4 exhaust pipes. Yeah, so now all we need to do is have a legitimate excuse to go driving. Okay. Got the phone call, yay. Exciting times. We do actually have to go and do a drive, legit. It's quite a small cockpit, you know. There's not a whole bunch of space in here. It does have rear seats. Apparently, it says on the spec sheet that it has rear seats, but I don't know if they were fitted to this particular version because it only seems to have these little leather-bound ramps at the back there. But they got seat belts. It does have seat belts in the back there, so I guess those are rear seats. 0 to 100, as I say, 3.2 seconds. The fastest accelerating BMW you can buy at 350 grand for this one. Most expensive you can buy, and it's, as we know, it's kind of like an M5 but in active wear. You know, it's kind of got the 2-door body, the coupe styling, of course, but it's an M5 all-wheel drive vehicle underneath it, as is the X5M and X6M. So there's a bunch of cars now and SUVs sharing the the M5's drivetrain. And this is probably, well, certainly the least practical. It has got a boot, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot more. It's, I think the M5 is about 230 something. This is, you know, over $100,000 more than an M5. For the look, would you pay that for the look? It's not really going to offer you everything that it can offer you unless you're going at light speed on this M8 Competition. And of course today, in my little run to the post office and then the accountant, I'm not going to be able to travel at light speed. And I got a feeling that most people, in New Zealand particularly, aren't ever going to be able to travel at light speed unless they take it to a track. And then it comes down to the whole crazy question of, do you take a $350,000 car that weighs 1.9 tons to a track ever? Maybe from a curiosity point of view, you should do it once. You should probably do it at least once, just to get it out of your system, tell your mates that you've done it, and rant about how fabulous it was. But you're more likely just to be cruising around on the way to the post office like I am now in this car. So you have to have a certain priority in life to go and spend this money on this car in this country, I think, because we don't have autobahns. Is it just too much? Is the whole car a bit too much? I don't know, possibly. Okay, yeah, it's got some shove. Right, here's the post office. Next stop, accountant. Now I'm really sorry I can't jump out of the car, put cameras on the outside of it, you know, put cameras on the side of the road and drive around, but you know, it just wouldn't be a good look. I feel that would be overstepping the ability to drive around at the moment, because I'm not supposed to be doing anything that's not essential. So fortunately I did have to do this this run to the accountants, which was essential, but outside of that I'm just not prepared to rub salt in anybody's wound, or you know, put my CarNut logo in this car and BMW frankly in the public's face by saying, oh, that guy's out there doing road testing, is that essential? No, you know, we all know it's not essential. So I'm sorry that the video coverage of this vehicle is relatively sparse, but there you go. That's the climate we're in at the moment. We can try a little bit of motorway cruise. So let's go up here, and just going to put into M2, double punch that to confirm that yes, I want traction control off, I want rear wheel drive, I want everything noisy and harsh, and let's go. Right, yeah, okay, so there's your trouble there, is it? 100 and something odd on the motorway on-ramp before you even get to the motorway. It's quite muted still, I'm surprised. I mean, that was full noise in terms of the exhaust. That's, we're an M2, so it's as, you know, aggressive as it can be. But it's still pretty cultured, you know. It's still a Grand Tourer, isn't it? It's still got that quiet air of confidence about it. It's not really noisy and bangy like, say, an AMG Merc is. And yeah, that was just a little squirt onto the motorway there, but it still feels quite, well, ordinary? No, it doesn't feel ordinary. It does not feel ordinary. I'm just going to put it, it's a 8-speed automatic, it's in 7th at the moment, we're doing 100 kilometers an hour. I'm just going to drop it down a bit in speed. Just going to get over here, drop it down a bit in speed and drop it down a bit in gears. Okay, so say you're going along the motorway or a 2-lane road more likely, and you're doing 80 kilometers an hour, you need to get past somebody in a hurry, you drop it down to 3rd. Yeah, you're past in no time. You're past in absolutely no time. Open road performance must be mind-bending. I'm sorry I can't get out of Auckland at the moment. There's barriers up with cops on the entry and exit points to Auckland. I can't escape our motorway system. This is as fast as we're going to be able to go, which is 100 kilometers an hour. Of course, we can never go faster than 100 kilometers an hour, even when we're out of Auckland, do we? But I can't come across any tight and twisty roads where 100 kilometers an hour is really testing the vehicle. So that's unfortunately the time I just happen to have this car, is when we're in a lockdown situation. But what I can tell you, having now driven it for a few kilometers, is that it does feel special to be inside. It really does feel special. What's this guy on the Suzuki one? There we go, we just had a drag with a GSXR 1100. Yeah, 1100. Wow, I'm glad it's not my daughter on the back of that car. Anyway, at no time did we exceed the speed limit because we were only doing about 70 to 95 there, so maybe this car attracts that sort of thing. I've never had a motorcyclist come beside me in any other car and want to drag. Isn't that funny? What is it about this car that says I'm up for it? Is it that competition badge on the back maybe? Is it the carbon fibre roof? Is it the carbon fibre lip spoiler on the boot? Is it the 20-inch wheels? Does he know that it costs $350,400, this particular car? Does he know it's not mine? I have seen some reviews that say that it's a little bit numb in the steering, it doesn't really provide much feedback. Look, I'm not going to comment on that because I haven't experienced that myself. I did find the M5 extremely fast and extremely capable on damp, winding roads, and because this has a centre of gravity that is apparently 24 millimeters lower than the M5, then I fully expect that this car would be that, maybe even plus a bit, you know, so it's not going to disappoint in road holding. It may, you know, not be the most exciting car to drive, but really, really high powered cars like this need a lot of traction, they need a lot of brakes, they need a lot of everything to keep them on the planet. So if you want to have thrills in your driving, I suggest, my philosophy is to go for something slower and less tired than this, and have your fun at much lower and safer speeds. Something like an MX-5 is always a good steer for a car that you want some, you know, real driver involvement. These things are just uber fast, and yeah, in Germany and Italy and countries where you can go flat out at unpoliced speeds, maximum speeds, then that's great. In New Zealand, yeah, it's not such a turn on, I guess. Now I can't do 0 to 100k tests, of course, because I'm stuck on suburban streets, can't get out of Auckland. But I guess I could do a 0 to 50 km/h acceleration test and hopefully give you a bit of a sense of the drama that the car offers. So there's a red traffic light up here. Just gonna put it into M2, which means it's full fat, full go, full noise, all the berries. And when the light changes, we'll quickly, I imagine, go from standing start to 50 km/h. And hopefully that gives you some sort of payoff for watching this video so far. Here we go. Well, okay, so that's 0 to just a little bit over 50. Would have gone to the red line in first, which would have been over 50 km/h. But there we go. We had a shift into second as well. This might well be the most boring and ordinary CarNut review you've ever watched. In a way, I hope it is, because it's certainly the most unusual CarNut review I've ever filmed, and I'm sorry it just happens to coincide with this particularly spectacular vehicle. But there you have it.